He was a kid from Harlem with nothing. No connections, no safety net, and no one to show him the way. But he would rise faster than anyone could imagine, building an empire worth hundreds of millions. Only to have it threatened by secrets, scandals, and the law itself. This is the story of Sean P. Diddy Combs, the rise, the power, and the fall. Imagine growing up in a city that never sleeps, a city that breathes opportunity and danger in equal measure. Harlem, New York. November 4, 1969. A boy is born, Sean John Combs. Harlem, a neighborhood steeped in culture, music, and art, was also a place where survival was a daily challenge. The streets were alive with energy, but every corner held risk. Opportunities were scarce, and the future was never guaranteed. Every day brought choices, but some choices weren't even yours to make. And for Sean, life would change in ways no child could foresee. When he was only 3 years old, tragedy struck. His father, Melvin Combs, died in a car accident. Gone. Just like that. For most children, the loss of a parent is devastating. For Sean, it was transformative. It left a void. But it also ignited a fire. From that moment, life became more than surviving. It became about proving, achieving, escaping, rising above. Raised by his mother, Janice, a dedicated educator, Sean learned discipline and resilience. She instilled in him a sense of responsibility. A drive to rise above circumstance, and the belief that nothing was impossible if you worked harder than everyone else. But Harlem had lessons of its own. The streets taught observation, cunning, and survival. Every setback was fuel. Every slight, a challenge to overcome. Every opportunity, a test of ambition. Sean's teenage years were shaped by the vibrancy and tension of Brooklyn. He attended Bishop Laughlin Memorial High School, where he was academically sharp, socially magnetic, and creatively restless. He excelled in classrooms and hallways alike, but he was never content with mediocrity. His dreams were larger than his neighborhood, ambitions taller than the skyline of New York itself. And he carried with him a sense of purpose that few could understand. In the late 1980s, Sean enrolled at Howard University in Washington, D.C., a prestigious historically black university. But Sean wasn't just a student, he was a strategist. Every connection, every conversation, every networking opportunity was carefully observed and filed away. He studied the mechanics of influence as closely as he studied economics or communications. And then, the opportunity came, an internship at Uptown Records. For most, an internship is a minor credential. For Sean, it was a launch pad. He arrived early, stayed late, absorbed every detail, and learned the business from the ground up. But working for someone else would never satisfy him. He wanted ownership. He wanted control. He wanted influence. And he was willing to risk everything to get it. By 1993, Sean made the audacious move that would define his life. He founded Bad Boy Records. This wasn't just a label. It was a movement. And it was a gamble. The music industry is unforgiving. Many rise fast only to disappear faster. But Sean had a vision, and he could see talent where others saw nothing. The first artist to truly change the game for Bad Boy Records was the Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls. Sean recognized raw talent, a star beneath the rough edges. Together, they would dominate the 1990s music scene, producing hit after hit, defining hip-hop culture. And creating a legacy that would outlive them both. But success at that level is never without danger. The East Coast-West Coast feud escalated, and the industry became a battlefield. Tensions simmered, rivalries became lethal, and Sean found himself navigating a world where every decision could have life-or-death consequences. And then, in 1997, the unthinkable happened. The Notorious B.I.G. was murdered in Los Angeles. Sean's world shifted overnight. Personal loss collided with professional stakes. The streets he had once navigated with confidence had become unforgiving. And the empire he had built had to survive without its brightest star, but retreat was never Sean's way. Instead, he transformed himself. Diddy emerged, a name, a brand, a symbol. Music, fashion, media, alcohol brands, his empire expanded exponentially. Sean John clothing, Ciroc vodka, television ventures, endorsements. He understood fame as currency and leveraged it masterfully, converting influence into wealth, and wealth into power. By the early 2000s, Sean Combs wasn't just rich. He was untouchable. Forbes estimated his net worth at hundreds of millions. He controlled narratives, dictated trends, and wielded influence across industries. Yet, with power comes scrutiny. Every move, every deal, every public appearance was observed, dissected, debated, and criticized. Controversy was never far behind. Lawsuits, rivalries, public feuds, allegations, and whispers followed him like shadows. But success can silence doubt, until it doesn't. By the 2020s, the whispers became headlines. Allegations of sexual misconduct, assault, and abuse surfaced. Civil lawsuits multiplied, some naming multiple women. Media coverage intensified. And then came the federal investigation. Homes raided. Evidence collected. Charges filed. Sean Combs, the man who had controlled the spotlight for decades, now found himself under it. The federal charges were severe: sex trafficking, conspiracy, racketeering, transporting individuals for prostitution. The trial began in May 2025. For months, the world watched. Testimonies, courtroom tension, and media speculation dominated headlines. And then, a verdict: acquitted of the most serious charges, but convicted on 2 counts of transporting individuals for prostitution. In October 2025, the sentence was handed down: 50 months in federal prison and a $500,000 fine. The empire, while still standing, had been shaken. Influence remained. Wealth remained. But perception had changed. Once untouchable, now vulnerable. Once celebrated, now questioned. Yet Sean's story is remarkable not just because of his rise, but because of how high he climbed. From Harlem to global superstardom. From executive to icon. From celebrated mogul to a man facing the consequences of power and excess. His journey is a cautionary tale, a testament to ambition, resilience, and the intoxicating allure and dangers of fame. Rise and ruin do not always happen in a single instant. Sometimes they unfold slowly. Story by story. Revelation by revelation. Until one day, everything looks different. For Sean Combs, the empire stands, the wealth persists, the influence remains. But the spotlight has changed. Its glare exposes everything: the successes, the failures, the ambition, the consequences. This is the story of Sean Diddy Combs. A story of genius, audacity, risk, power, scandal, and the fragility of fame. A story of what happens when the image you built starts to crack. When the empire, once untouchable, is tested by time, law, and human judgment, because in the end, no empire is immune. No matter the wealth, no matter the fame, no matter the power. The spotlight never turns off. And sometimes, it reveals everything. And that's the story of Sean Diddy Combs, a rise fueled by ambition, a legacy shaped by power, and a reminder that even the mightiest empires can face unexpected storms. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe to Rise and Realm so you never miss a story of the world's most fascinating billionaires, moguls, and controversies. And we want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let us know which billionaire or business icon you want us to cover next. Your suggestion could be the next story we bring to life. Until next time, keep watching, keep wondering, and remember, every empire has a story.